The unspoken code of a lone wolf empath there is a code that few people ever see and even fewer ever understand. It is not written in books. It is not taught in schools. It is not passed down through ceremonies or carved into stone. It lives in silence. It lives in observation. It lives in the minds of those who walk through crowded rooms and somehow feel more alone than they do in complete isolation. The lone wolf empath is one of the most misunderstood people in the modern world. Others see distance and assume arrogance. They see caution and assume weakness. They see silence and assume emptiness. Yet beneath that silence exists a storm of awareness. Beneath that restraint exists a level of perception that most people never develop. The lone wolf empath notices everything. They notice the smile that arrives half a second too late. They notice the confidence that sounds rehearsed. They notice the tension hidden behind laughter. They notice the pain disguised as success. They notice the fear concealed beneath anger. While others listen to words, the lone wolf empath listens to contradictions. And that ability is both a gift and a burden. Because once you begin seeing people clearly, you can never fully return to ignorance. The world teaches people to become louder. The lone wolf empath learns to become quieter. The world rewards performance. The lone wolf empath studies authenticity. The world celebrates appearances. The lone wolf empath searches for motives. This creates a strange conflict. You begin to realize that many battles are unnecessary. Many arguments are masks. Many relationships are transactions disguised as connections. Many displays of strength are simply fear wearing armor, and the moment you recognize these truths, you begin walking a different path. Not because you think you are better, because you can no longer pretend. The unspoken code begins with a simple principle. See clearly. Most people spend their lives trying to be seen. The lone wolf empath spends their life trying to see the hidden agenda, see the emotional wound, see the insecurity behind the ego, see the loneliness behind the aggression, see the humanity beneath the performance. When you develop this level of vision, something extraordinary happens. Your reactions become deliberate. Your emotions become disciplined. Your decisions become intentional. You stop allowing every opinion to invade your mind. You stop granting access to people who have not earned trust. You stop confusing attention with respect. You stop confusing noise with truth. You stop confusing activity with progress. And perhaps most importantly, you stop confusing loneliness with weakness, because there is a difference between being alone and being abandoned. The lone wolf empath understands that solitude is not punishment. Solitude is refinement. In solitude, distractions lose power. In solitude, clarity returns. In solitude, your own voice becomes audible again. Many people fear being alone because they have never learned how to face themselves. The lone wolf empath learns something different. They learn that self-respect grows in silence. They learn that confidence grows through evidence. They learn that strength grows through responsibility. They learn that peace grows through acceptance. This is why the lone wolf empath often appears calm during chaos. It is not because they feel nothing. It is because they have spent years learning how to carry what others try desperately to escape. The unspoken code also demands another principle. Protect your energy without apologizing for it. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your attention. Not everyone deserves your trust. Not everyone deserves your emotional investment. Some people arrive in your life carrying inspiration. Others arrive carrying confusion. Some people challenge you to grow. Others challenge you to shrink. The lone wolf empath learns to recognize the difference. They stop trying to rescue everyone. They stop trying to explain themselves to everyone. They stop trying to earn acceptance from people committed to misunderstanding them. And in that moment, a new form of freedom emerges. The freedom to walk away. The freedom to remain silent. The freedom to choose peace over validation. The freedom to protect what is valuable, because attention is valuable, time is valuable, focus is valuable, life is valuable, and anything valuable must be guarded. Another rule of the code is this: never confuse kindness with surrender. The world often presents a false choice. Be kind or be strong. Be compassionate or be powerful. Be understanding or be respected. The lone wolf empath rejects this illusion. True strength does not require cruelty. True confidence does not require domination. True authority does not require intimidation. The strongest individual in the room is often the one who remains composed when everyone else loses control. The strongest individual is often the one who can hear criticism without collapsing. The strongest individual is often the one who can maintain integrity when shortcuts appear attractive. Power without empathy becomes destructive. Empathy without boundaries becomes self-destruction. The lone wolf empath learns to balance both. That balance becomes their edge. And perhaps the deepest secret within the unspoken code is this: you do not need to be understood by everyone. Ride that again. You do not need to be understood by everyone. There are people who will misinterpret your silence. There are people who will project their fears onto your intentions. There are people who will create stories about you because reality does not support their assumptions. Let them. Your purpose is not to manage every perception. Your purpose is to live in alignment with truth. The moment you stop chasing universal approval, you reclaim an extraordinary amount of power, because now your identity no longer depends on the audience. It depends on your character. And character is built in private. When nobody is watching, when nobody is applauding, when nobody is rewarding you, that is where the real battle occurs. That is where the real victory is earned. The lone wolf empath understands that every day presents a choice. React or respond, follow or think, perform or become, complain or create, fear or grow. And while the world races toward distraction, the lone wolf empath returns to awareness. They return to observation. They return to discipline. They return to purpose, because they know something many people forget. A powerful life is not built through dramatic moments. It is built through repeated decisions, one choice at a time, one boundary at a time, one lesson at a time, one act of courage at a time. The unspoken code is not about isolation. It is about sovereignty. It is not about avoiding people. It is about understanding them. It is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming clear. And when clarity meets courage, something remarkable happens. You stop living according to fear. You stop negotiating with self-doubt. You stop shrinking to fit the comfort of others. You begin standing firmly in who you are, not loudly, not arrogantly, not desperately, but undeniably. And that is the moment the lone wolf empath becomes impossible to manipulate, because they have learned the greatest lesson of all. The person who understands themselves cannot easily be controlled by the opinions, expectations, or emotional storms of the world around them. They walk forward with awareness. They walk forward with discipline. They walk forward with compassion. And though they may walk alone at times, they never walk without purpose. Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid discomfort. They organize their decisions around convenience. They build their habits around familiarity. They construct their identities around what feels safe. Then they wonder why their lives never transform. Growth has always demanded a price. Clarity demands honesty. Strength demands struggle. Wisdom demands experience. And experience often arrives disguised as hardship. The lone wolf empath eventually discovers that pain is a language. Not every painful experience is meant to destroy you. Some are meant to reveal you. Some are meant to expose weaknesses that comfort kept hidden. Some are meant to show you exactly where your boundaries were missing. Some are meant to teach you which people belong in your life and which people were only temporary visitors. This is why the lone wolf empath stops asking a certain question. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They begin asking, what is this trying to teach me? That single shift changes everything. Victims search for blame, students search for lessons, and life becomes remarkably different when every setback becomes information instead of identity. The unspoken code teaches that every disappointment contains data. Every betrayal contains a warning. Every failure contains instruction. Every loss contains perspective. The people who grow are not necessarily the people who suffer less. They are the people who learn more from what they suffer. And there is another truth few people discuss. The more aware you become, the more selective you become. Not because your standards become unrealistic, because your tolerance for dysfunction decreases. You begin noticing patterns. You begin recognizing manipulation faster. You begin detecting inconsistency earlier. You begin seeing emotional games before they fully develop. And because of this, your circle often becomes smaller. Many people interpret this as loneliness. The lone wolf empath understands it differently. A smaller circle is not necessarily a smaller life. Sometimes it is evidence of greater clarity. Quality has always outweighed quantity. One genuine ally is worth more than 100 temporary supporters. One honest conversation is worth more than endless superficial interactions. One trustworthy relationship is worth more than a room full of applause. The lone wolf empath understands that real connection is rare, and because it is rare, it should be respected. The code also teaches restraint. In a world obsessed with immediate reaction, restraint has become a superpower. Not every accusation deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding requires correction. Not every attack deserves engagement. Not every battle deserves participation. Some conflicts exist only because someone wants your attention. Some arguments survive only because someone keeps feeding them energy. The lone wolf empath learns to ask a powerful question. Will this matter a year from now? If the answer is no, many conflicts disappear instantly. The ability to walk away from unnecessary drama is not weakness, it is intelligence. Because every emotional reaction carries a cost. Every argument consumes energy. Every resentment occupies mental space. Every grudge steals focus from something more important. The unspoken code reminds you that your attention is one of the most valuable assets you possess. Where attention goes, life follows. If your attention constantly chases negativity, your reality begins to reflect negativity. If your attention constantly chases fear, your reality becomes shaped by fear. If your attention constantly chases comparison, your peace disappears. The lone wolf empath learns to guard attention with the same seriousness that others guard money, because lost money can be recovered. Lost focus often cannot. Another principle emerges as awareness deepens. People reveal themselves through patterns, not promises, not intentions, not explanations. Patterns. Anyone can speak beautifully. Anyone can make commitments. Anyone can create impressive stories. But patterns expose reality. Consistency exposes character. Repeated behavior exposes priorities. Repeated choices expose values. This is why the lone wolf empath watches carefully. They understand that words create impressions. Behavior creates truth. And once you begin paying attention to patterns, confusion starts disappearing. You stop trying to decode mixed signals. You stop trying to rationalize obvious behavior. You stop trying to convince yourself that potential matters more than reality. You begin accepting people for who they repeatedly show themselves to be. That acceptance creates freedom, because reality becomes easier to navigate when you stop negotiating with facts. The code also contains a difficult lesson. Not everyone is supposed to accompany you into your future. Some people are chapters. Some people are lessons, some people are mirrors, some people are warnings, some people are blessings, but very few become permanent companions. Many individuals remain trapped because they keep trying to force temporary people into permanent roles. The lone wolf empath learns to release what no longer aligns, not with bitterness, not with hatred, but with understanding. Every ending creates space. Every departure creates room. Every closure creates opportunity. Holding on to what has already expired only delays what is meant to arrive. And perhaps one of the greatest transformations occurs when the lone wolf empath stops seeking permission. Permission to think differently, permission to dream bigger, permission to establish boundaries. Permission to leave unhealthy situations, permission to pursue purpose, permission to become more. For years, many people unconsciously wait for approval from family, approval from society, approval from peers, approval from strangers who barely know them. The moment you stop waiting for permission, life changes direction, because the responsibility becomes yours, the decision becomes yours, the outcome becomes yours. And with responsibility comes power. Many people want freedom. Few want responsibility, yet the two are inseparable. You cannot possess one without accepting the other. The lone wolf empath eventually embraces this truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to build your future. No one is coming to create your confidence. No one is coming to discover your purpose on your behalf. The responsibility belongs to you. At first, this realization feels heavy. Then it becomes liberating. Because if responsibility belongs to you, so does the power to change. So does the power to adapt. So does the power to rebuild. So does the power to begin again. And beginning again is often necessary. Every powerful individual has experienced seasons of reinvention, moments when old identities collapsed, moments when old beliefs shattered, moments when old versions of themselves could no longer survive. Those moments are uncomfortable, but they are also sacred because transformation requires the death of limitation. You cannot become who you are capable of being while clinging to who you used to be. The unspoken code understands this. It welcomes growth even when growth is painful. It welcomes change even when change is uncertain. It welcomes truth even when truth is uncomfortable, because comfort rarely creates greatness. Comfort rarely creates wisdom. Comfort rarely creates resilience. The lone wolf empath does not seek suffering. They seek meaning. And when meaning becomes the target, obstacles lose much of their power. Challenges become teachers. Failures become feedback. Delays become preparation. Difficulties become training. The road remains difficult, but it no longer feels pointless. And when a person discovers purpose within adversity, they become extraordinarily difficult to defeat because circumstances may slow them. Circumstances may challenge them. Circumstances may test them, but circumstances can no longer convince them to quit. That is the hidden strength of the lone wolf empath. Not aggression, not dominance, not intimidation, deference. The quiet refusal to abandon what matters. The quiet decision to continue learning. The quiet commitment to remain authentic in a world that rewards performance. The quiet courage to walk a path that others may never understand.